Oh, homies, what a fun week it's slowly becoming. Oh, it is a really, really nice feeling to just get right in the middle of something that you have no idea if it's going to work, and it just starts giving you rounds of applause, patting you on the back, immediately feeling that good reciprocation from your body, knowing that you're doing what's right. Because initially it's not going to feel that way. You're always going to sit there and be like, I could be doing more. I could be feeling better. I could be working hard. And it's just, sometimes you just got to take a step back to allow yourself to make that big leap forward. And oh boy, are we getting to that point. It's really, really nuts to me that I'm starting to get to a new point where bigger jumps need to be accustomed. I need to start allowing myself to become used to having bigger gaps between my sets, specifically about the weights, but you can make it metaphorical if you want to. The biggest thing, today I just hit back squat. I told you guys yesterday it's just going to be front squat yesterday, back squat today, bench press tomorrow, because I just wanted to have some nice heavy fun days. While I'm recovering, I like to mess around with the stuff that still works to the extent that makes me feel comfortable, confident, no injury risk type feeling, just doing what I know my body will be okay with and leaving it at that, and yesterday I got to really push it hard, and I wanted to do front squat first this half of the week because it takes so much core energy out of me. Even if I fight it with all the power I've got in my body on those heaviest sets, it's inevitable that I'm going to start breaking down when it comes to my upper back and my delts, my elbows. Everything's going to start falling forward because it's a front squat. It's held on your front. You're going to move a little bit forward when it gets too heavy. As long as you are putting in that effort to make it as vertical as you can, that's what I really care the most about. And so because I got to go so hard yesterday, of course, we went just as hard today. And mind you, no new weights today when it comes to the squat. There was no chance in this universe that I was going to waltz in there, pretend like I'm hot shit, and be like, yeah, I just PR'd my front squat yesterday. Let's PR back squat too. It don't work like that. When it comes to my programming, I have one exercise every day that I go the hardest on, and the rest accessorize the rest of my body. And so on my first day, I'll do heavy snatches so that when I come in the next day, I can do heavy squats, and the third day do heavy bench because then my core is fully blown out from doing squats. So doing squats 2 days in a row, it's a little different. It did not feel it felt good, just not good in the mind-muscle connection kind of way, Those first warm-up sets up to, I want to say 345, definitely felt a bit weird, bit icky. Not that they were bad per se. I'm sure the video makes them look really good because it's a video and you don't see how I feel. But man, my low back was tired. And if you know me, I'm a low back dominant squatter. So when my low back is not locked in, it takes a lot for me to re-lock it back in. And sometimes it's allowing yourself to just have a little bit of fun, see what that next weight feels like, and then as long as there's no risk of injury, if it's just some discomfort, push through it a little bit, see what you're capable of. So, got to 4 plates, and they started flying. I was like, oh! Sometimes you just got to do a heavier weight to warm up, right? That makes sense. But in all honesty, to an extent, a lot of it's a mental game. Those warm-up sets, and especially the set you do before the last set that you want to hit, are the hardest of the workout because especially those first couple warm-ups where it's too light to even care, you're not going to really have to worry that much. It's those in-the-middle warm-up sets and then that second-to-last warm-up set that really kill you. Because when I got to 365 to 405, I was like, okay, we're big chilling now. Big chilling. I'm moving it. The weight's heavy enough to where it's kind of forcing me down, but I can fight back really hard and get my back warmed up the way I want to. But then 435 comes around. And if you know me, typically I do jumps from 405, 425, 445, then 455. Because as of late, 455 was new weight. I hadn't really squatted that in about a year now. And so I was like, okay, let's not rush into it. But now it's today, you got to recognize where your body lacks, and when it comes to the set volume tanking your potential that day, you got to like look at the back and forth and be like, okay, well, what's worth hitting the most, you know? Because yesterday I was able to put in a bit more rep volume per set because it was my first day back in. Today, the moment I hit 365, 385, I couldn't do more than like 2 reps at a time. My back was not wanting to do it. But regardless, it's the fact that I did 405, and I knew for a fact I was pushing to 455 today because I know my body, you know, I know what effort I can at least imagine myself putting in. And it's where it becomes muddy is where you have to decide on whether or not you should do 405, 425, 445, then 455, or make the jump to 435 and then do the heaviest weight. Take out that set. Because I know it's scary. I know it's really, really freaky to push it like that, especially when you've never done it before. I've never pushed that kind of jump between 455, and I know it doesn't seem like a big deal. It's 10 pounds different. But it can make a world of difference sometimes, man. You never know how fragile your body can be until you give it just that slight inch too far. And then you have to take whatever time you have to recover, like I am now with my shoulder. But either way, I knew that I had that energy in me. I knew that I had that attempt, but the attempts at 425 and 445 were not worth. They weren't. And this is the biggest thing. It's the idea of if I want to imagine hitting 475 sooner than later, then what am I going to do when I have to do 5 more practice sets, warm-up sets before I get to that point after like 405? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And so it's kind of just trusting the warm-ups along the way, you know? Because even though 345 is an equivalent to 425 and 455 as warm-up sets, it's the fact that you have enough set volume along the way to where doing a little bit of an excess jump at those heaviest weights is not as big a deal as it may appear. You know, they're the scariest weights because we don't know much about them when it comes to our physical potential to pick them up. But realistically, is doing an extra set between 425 and 445 going to make you feel better? Maybe it'll make you mentally a bit more confident, but only if it goes exactly as good as you want it to. And a lot of the times when you're as tired as I was today, that's not the case. And you need to temper those expectations to the extent of, okay, well, it may be fucking terrifying to an extent, but you got to try. You got to at least give it that effort, you know, that in the moment push of like, if I don't do this now, while I know I have the chance to try, then who's to say that I'm going to be ready any other time, you know? You can't really know when exactly you're going to be ready. It's just whether or not you give your body the exact time that you believe it could need, committing to that time schedule, that, you know, that whatever program you have set up. And then by the end of what you've committed to, then you can look back and say, well, I did everything in my power. I did everything to the best extent that I could imagine it being. And if I failed in these certain ways, here's what we're going to do to fix them now that I know every little bit of what could have gone better. Whew. And 455 felt nice. I know you already seen it. That grind, I felt it. I'll tell you what, I had the slight glimpse of 475 potentially happening if it moved like it did yesterday. And if I squatted yesterday, sure, maybe. But we don't look at what ifs or shoulda, coulda, woulda. Who cares? That was yesterday. I wanted to give front squat some love. Back squat was just doing its thing today, and I still put in as much effort as I could. You could argue more effort than yesterday because I was tired, you know? So I'm all happy for it either way. Man, it's got me so excited. The shoulder exercises as well, keeping up with that. They're really putting in the work. I didn't record it, but I messed around with the barbell just a little bit after my back squats just to see what it felt like. The jerk overhead is already feeling a lot better. The only thing that I want to make sure I look out for is having an even jerk overhead, because I don't want to have my left recover and then my left be way too strong, you know? Because when you recover, you feel like you're on top of this world, like you're built different, and then the other arm's going to end up slacking because of it. So I'm not going to do any Olympic lifting for today and tomorrow. I'm committing to that because that's what I decided to do. Even if I feel good enough to try, I don't want to push it yet. I want to give it this little break of just strengthening the rotator cuff and doing as good as I can, and then coming back to it when I feel the best that I can be for what I imagine myself being. And then next week, we'll fuck around with some Olympic lifting. Because truthfully, after today, and the way that my shoulder feels, I'm 100% after tomorrow and the rest day after coming in and doing the normal program. It's going to be a week of I don't know what happens because I have to get used to the Olympic lifts again. It's not like I can just jump back into it and do a 245 triple on snatch, or a 295 triple on clean and jerk. But if my shoulder feels good, I'm at least going to do some comfortable top singles like I've been doing this week and then take a little bit easier on the power lifts next week, just to give that good balance, do some more volume work when it comes to the squats and bench. And then at the end of it, if I've put in all the work that needs to be put in and I feel 100% confident, that is when I will do the normal program again. And it's been a while. I miss it with all my heart. I really do. I know a lot of people say you shouldn't lift by stagnant programs or whatever, but I like having a good balance, being able to really maintain yourself with a good, solid, strategic, static program for whatever progressive overload or whatever type of training you want to do, pyramid, whatever. And then having that little bit of fuck around, find out, have fun kind of program, Because for me, the normal program is about a month's worth of progressive overload, just feeling out the volume, making sure I put in my due reps and conditioning. And then my quote-unquote recovery week is only top heavy singles, but they're the hardest technical complexes or variations I can think of so that I can put some passion into it, some imagination, They're not just ego lifts. They're lifts that test my core and my stability and my technique to the highest extent so that I can get back on the normal program right after that while having some fun, because if you make the lifts hard enough, you can go just about as heavy as you want because I promise you won't be able to get near your maxes. It's just not realistic. Your body's going to be tattered, especially after a progressive overload like I do. So it's just being able to give yourself that bit of balance, that bit of fun, being able to come back, but really understanding what that means, what that fullest extent can be in that moment. I tell people all the time, listen to your body. But that does not mean when you're sitting there and you're like, oh, well, if I want to put on more weight, I'll put on more weight. No, there has to be a reason. Everything needs a purpose. Everything. So if I'm putting on heavier weight, it's because there's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind that I'm going to at least be able to have a great attempt at it. And I'm going to imagine myself succeeding at it to 100%. And if I fail, who cares? But it's the fact that I have that much confidence where even if I do fail it, the risk of injury is still more minimal, But we don't do what ifs. In the moment, we succeed. And if in the moment our expectations fail us or our hopes fail us and we fail and we fuck up, just as much room as you fuck up with, you have twice as much room to grow. That much more potential to really pick it back up and make yourself better because of it. Like I am now with my shoulder. My stability and my shoulder strength and my technique has never been this good. I am so excited to feel like what it feels like to snatch and clean and jerk again without any pain next week. Because that's what I've earned. I've earned that right back. I feel like I've given myself the necessary efforts to get that back, that privilege that my passion is for the sport. Physically, solid 9.05 because it's just barely over the cusp. I'll tell you what, I may have squatted heavy, but with the way that I've been moving, if I'd been more prepped, 475, I believe, totally could have gone, which is awesome. But we can't rush that, And so my back was not exactly where I wanted it to be. You can see on that last 455, my back tried to start rounding, but I did keep it very, very straight for the most part, which I'm very happy for. So I'll take that as a win. The accessories felt wonderful. I actually got to teach a new gym homie about the shoulder exercises because they've been having shoulder issues and stuff for the quad tendon like I had issues with. And I love to see that, man. I love seeing other people grow through your past quote-unquote failures that made you so much better, So it was a great day. Mentally, easily going to give it a 9.55. Really good day. It was just so much fun, man. It's nice to be able to just get in there and put up that much weight, feel that good about it, even though I'm dead tired and super exhausted. Like I got to go back to work tonight. But with this good of a day, with this good of an effort, passion put toward my life, I can do fucking anything. And I can do it with a smile on my face. I don't care if the psych unit's going to drag me dirty tonight and make me go crazy from all the back and forth shenanigans. It's a long shift. 12 hours can make anybody get a little cuckoo. But the important thing is that you can get mad in the moment, sure. But then brush it off. Be like, you know what? I love the parts of my job that I choose to love. And I can take the negative parts as ways to grow personally and do better. And I'm going to keep doing that out of the way. So I got to get going. I appreciate you guys hanging out and hearing me yap. I love getting this shit out. I feel great today. Again, you'll see me back tomorrow with literally just bench press. I'm very curious on how that's going to feel because, again, the rear delt injury in the rotator cuff did not mess up my bench, but it is still more sore. You know, it's not like the lockout overhead with snatch and clean jerk where it provides actual, like, ouchy kind of, like, the real kind of pain. It's just mild discomfort / hard soreness. So if it doesn't move well tomorrow, I'm not gonna mess with it that hard. Like if it's just a 315 single, leave it at that. Who cares? That's still really decent weight, and I'm just getting back into it. But I did 305 for a set of 5 last week, so you know, I think I have some room to fuck around. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll be back tomorrow. I love you guys. See you later. Bye.